Super Bowl champions.
Swing of the miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup. For the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
What is up?
We
What
are
is up,
back. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Before we get started, I got to give my buddy Kevin a shout out for his
Ooh,
birthday. 40 years of the Rat. 40 years of Rat
nice.
mode. Kevin Hudson. Look at him. He was a baby. He was a shirtless young man. He was starting to get chunky, and then he became a fat, bald guy.
Nice. Welcome to the club.
Yep. Welcome to the club, Kev. Welcome to the club. What up, Drunk on Broad? How are we, Don?
God, Rich, you know what? Doing all right.
I'm a lot
Doing
better.
all right.
today,
It's yeah.
better.
There's been a lot of time to let everything kind of cease and desist and settle down, and I kind of settled on like where we ended the show last week, which was like not happy about the conclusion of the season, but
Right.
we found out a lot of good stuff
We did.
about the team, and looking at what they have moving forward, there's a lot of quality pieces in this roster as it sits right now, before they draft, before they go into free agency, before they who they decide to bring back, who they decide to let go, and
Agreed.
but I think the biggest thing that we found out, one, we know who Jalen Hurts is, and
Who is
two,
Who is he, Don?
he's your starting
Goddamn
quarterback.
MVP.
If he doesn't get hurt in Chicago, that MVP is probably his to have.
Yeah.
And if I truly believe that in an alternative universe, that penalty doesn't get called, they get the ball back, and they go down and put points up. And
If
he's
Samalu
going to-
doesn't get the penalty, they don't fumble.
yeah, listen, the revisionist history, we could go down a really dark place.
I'm going to
Because-
die on that hill, Don.
We
I'm going to die on it, brother.
Rich, you and most of the Philadelphia sports fan base.
Yeah.
But and I'm really confident about the GM and
Yeah.
Howie Roseman, and seeing how they were able to put this roster together,
Agreed.
the creative places where they were able to, get guys like James Bradbury, get guys like CJ Gardner-Johnson, pull those guys, and then even in the middle of the season, right, bringing in Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, being creative in terms of the contracts. I just like where we are, and I like that, especially on the offensive end, there's not going to be a lot of moving parts. A lot of the moving parts are going to be on defense.
Yeah.
Sam Malu's
Samalu being gone, but, we got
But-
Jurgens. We still have Dickerson. We still have Mailata. I really wish that we were able to move Dillard at the time, like we could have, like beginning of the season, for
I agree.
like a second round pick. Like that would have been nice because I believe he walks.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, it's not like he's going to be anything anyway. But it was just been nice when he was in high demand and teams needed him to get something for him. But, in Howie, we trust, right?
I agree.
Like you said, our defense is going to look different. I think different in a good way. I think Gardner-Johnson gets tagged. They work out a long-term deal. They get him signed. Jalen Hurts gets that extension. We free up some money elsewhere. A bunch of guys, restructure, and we're able to move some cap money. We sign some guys. It's going to be interesting. I don't think Sanders is coming back, even though he wants to. I think the reports say that he's most likely gone. And, it just drives his price up. I don't think that they can really justify paying him over, $4-5 million a year.
Yeah, I think the only way he comes back is that he's willing to take like the biggest of biggest discounts, which I think for him as a player would be a disservice to him
Yeah,
because he's not. This will probably be the last big contract he gets.
exactly.
He might get a couple other smaller ones, but this will be his last huge payday to cash in. So
Yeah.
It-
I mean, you got Gainwell. You can draft a running back. You still have Trey Sermon. You know, everybody wants to do like the smash and dash. You still have Trey Sermon, who's a downhill runner. You
Yeah.
still have Kenny Gainwell, who looks more than competent to be starting running back in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts, you know, they're going to use that committee. They're going to use that approach. It's what they do. I don't think them spending on a running back isn't the option when you have other holes to fill on defense. I think they'll bring in a linebacker. Again, they'll probably look for some guys that fit the system, bring them in. Corner is going to be tough. We still need an outside guy. I think Bradbury is gone. I think he'll go get his money elsewhere. And, you know, we have the defensive coordinator shake up. So we'll see what system and scheme that he's going to be running. Hopefully a lot of blitzes. It'd be nice to see the team actually blitz. And we go from there, right? We go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, there's plenty of time to talk about the draft, right? I think what I heard Reuben Frank talking on the Eagles Talk podcast about their draft history, right? And their first round draft history speaks for itself.
Yeah.
About where they value guys. Every pick, but 4 of them in the first round have been either offensive or defensive linemen or wide receivers.
Yeah.
So out of like 35 picks in the first round, only 4 of them weren't one of those 2 positions. So I think you know where you're going to go. I think the value might be at that first pick, right, to get younger on the defensive end, on the defensive side. So I think you're either going edge or corner, which the way that the quarterback value has gone and tipped the scales, I think you could possibly see 3 or 4 guys get picked before the Eagles pick at 10.
Yeah.
Which means all of that other defensive talent all just gets pushed back to a place where they don't really have they don't have a need for quarterbacks, so you can let those guys move up to take those quarterbacks. And I think that only pushes the defensive talent further and further back to you, where the value at 10 is going to be you're going to possibly get a guy that could be a top 5 talent just because there are teams that are so desperate to get up and get that quarterback.
Agreed.
What are your thoughts on? Do you have any thoughts on the new defensive coordinator?
No, not really. I mean, just looking at it, comes from Seattle. Seattle's defense was decent last year. A lot of young parts. You know, he was their assistant head coach to Pete Carroll. You know, just a title you give to somebody. I mean, not a bad guy to really learn under. I think Pete Carroll is a heck of a coach. So hopefully he brings a good pedigree with him, you know, give him a chance and see what he does and run this defense. Hopefully he
spent time with Fangio.
Yeah. I mean, you spend time with Fangio, you should know something. And if he's a Fangio guy, I'm fine with it. And hopefully we can, you know, improve this defense even more. Maybe disguise some coverages, some more blitzes, and, you know, shake it up a little bit. I would like to see the old Jimmy Johnson defense come back to Philly.
Yeah.
I would like to see the pressure. I would like to see the pressure up the middle and, you know, let our guys get home. But in those situations where it calls for a blitz, I would like to see it, not just sitting back on our heels and getting picked apart because we're playing a zone.
Yeah. So the 2021 season, the one season that he was the D coordinator for the Bears, that defense in Chicago ranks 6th in total defense, 3rd in passing. Right. So if you're looking at the talent level of guys that are here, you can see where they might be able to kind of replicate some of the things that they did there.
Yeah.
And I think they brought in a guy that they knew was going to not just run their version of whatever he wanted them to run, but run his defense. You know, and that, you know, I know it's a sour name around here, but right, that's the year that Robert Quinn gets 18.5 sacks.
I'm sorry. I zoned out. I don't know who that guy is. All I knew was the turnstile that we had there playing Edge. Sorry. I was like, who is this guy? I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh God, Rich, you had me fooled. I thought you were frozen.
No, I didn't freeze. I just was like, yeah.
You pulled a fast one on me, Rich. Rich, any thoughts about Brian Johnson being elevated to the offensive coordinator? Obviously, they want to keep consistency within the offense. They keep a guy that he's very familiar with, very comfortable with.
I mean, I like it. It's a guy who, has been working with Hurts and has been working with Hurts. It's keeping it the same scheme. Keeping things familiar is essentially what they're doing. I think this offense is basically well-rounded enough that these guys can really coach themselves. And we just need that play caller. And we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. So, it's just one of those things. You promote the guy to keep the familiarity with the quarterback. Happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the idea that you keep consistency in that spot with a guy where he had success, right? And there's a lot to go back to remember the fact that this is only his second full year in this offense.
Yeah.
So the leap from year one to year two was monumental to elevate to where if you compare the end of that first season where they flop in Tampa versus the season that he had and then the way that he was able to navigate situations throughout this year, I think the sky is the limit, right? And what do they say? That you're not really seeing the true level of play until the third, fourth, fifth year in the offense. So I think if he could just continue to make incremental improvements with a talent base around him. Rich, you have any thoughts on Bijan Robinson at the end of the first round?
That would be insane.
Right?
Good luck trying to stop him. That's all I would say. Between him, Hurts, and Gainwell, good luck.
And Goddard, and Smith, and Brown.
No, I'm just talking about running. I'm just talking about running.
Forget all the other stuff.
Yeah, forget about all the other shit. Like, good luck trying to stop that big boy. Like, that dude is a monster. And you pair him with Gainwell, that's a hell of a running back. That's a good running back room. I would love that. I really would love that.
Young, cheap, and not a ton of miles on the tires.
And we'll run you over. Yes, I will take that in a heartbeat. That would be so. We were talking about that today in our French group chat, and my one buddy Bill was like, "Dude, I would have a boner all season. Like, good luck. Like, good luck trying to stop Robinson." I'm like, yeah, that running back
with this line, too.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous. It would be insane. I would love to see it.
That'd be incredible.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
It's yours.
Thank you.
Yes.
I knew we would draft.
But yeah, no, I just we'll continue to kind of discuss what that off season starts to look at, right? The combine's going on, the underwear Olympics is happening in Indianapolis, and
when's free agency start?
The league year, I think, starts.
It just started. The league year just opened up yesterday, didn't it?
Just opened up yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not totally sure on that.
Thank God for Google. Let me look it up.
But Rich, it's mock draft season. Good God. The mock drafts are fast and furious. So, but I
March
think
15th.
March 15th. Okay. Yeah, it's good to kind of keep that stuff on the back burner and just kind of bring it up every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I think I love where they are, and I love the fact that they have options.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got 10 and 31, and I think if the guy that they absolutely don't love is not there at 31, it's very easy to see them trade out and trade back and get multiple picks multiple seconds, maybe a second and a third. But yeah, I think that you can't pass on talent at that point. I think with how young this team is and how talented they are, I think you take that pick. You just keep stockpiling the talent.
Yeah, I
pool.
mean, if the guy you want's there, or say there's 3 guys you want, and somebody calls you at 13 and says, "Hey, I'll give you a 1, R1, and R3, and then something else to move up, or just the 1 and the 3,"
Right.
and you're only moving back 3 spots, and you got 3 guys who are potentially on the board, fuck it, why not? Like, just keep grabbing assets. Like,
just keep stockpiling us, right? And you saw how many picks Howie Roseman was able to turn. He turned that Wentz player into. God, the last time I saw it, it was multiple players, multiple picks that they just kept manipulating and keep trading and just keep acquiring assets, and they keep putting themselves in a position where they can take advantage of a team that really wants a player, and they garner that first round pick for the future, right? And it works out with the Saints where they end up having a super shitty year, and they're going to pick in the top 10 now.
yo, the Eagles should sign Wentz to a 1-year deal.
Stop, Rich. I saw.
Bring him back as a backup.
We'll get it. That's
No,
something.
bring him back. Bring him back for the practice squad
at the end, right? But to look at, I saw someone who had photoshopped him in a Philadelphia Stars, the USFL uniform.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
But no, we'll talk about that later. But Rich, let's switch gears. We're going old school, where we talk a little bit of everything, right?
Good.
Spring training starting.
Haven't watched it.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. So, but Rich, you're fully aware of some of the off-season stuff, right? So
yeah, I'm aware of the transactions and all that. I don't know like the young guys that they're bringing up and who the hell is going to be like our starting center fielder and like that shit.
Well,
there's some like no name.
The guy that they traded for in the middle of the year last year from the Angels, Marsh, is going to play center field.
Oh, he's still going to play. Okay, thank God.
He's still going to play.
Thank God.
Right.
Thank
so,
God. Because I saw some like Spanish dude like Rojas or something. Maybe it was just the spring training lineup.
Rich, there's a million guys in Clearwater right now.
All right, thank God, because I like Marsh. I'm getting like spring training always confuses me because I see like a bunch of starters and then I'll see like guys who I don't know, and I'm like, who is this guy? Why is he in the lineup a lot? And I'm like, okay, this is weird. But all right, yeah, it's spring training. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, listen, there's a million guys there. Within the first 2 innings, you're not going to know who most of those guys are. But what are your thoughts on what that addition of Trey Turner is going to add to this lineup?
Speed, more power, and a guy who can hit for average, and a solid ass fielder.
Yeah.
Shit that we need.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you put him in there with Harper and JT and Schwarber and Castellanos and Reese. Yeah, you really can't go wrong. That's a solid 6-7 guys deep.
Right. Yeah. So, like, I look at the fact that I'm looking at
Adam.
What's up, Adam? I'm looking at the fact that he's setting the table, right? That's a guy that you pencil in every day as your shortstop, your leadoff guy. And I watched the replay, the highlights of one of the first game that he played when he led off, right? And Schwarber was hitting second, and you saw him get on, steal second. Schwarber hits it in the gap, and it's 1-0 within the first 2 batters.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the kind of thing that by sliding Schwarber to that second spot in the lineup, you're going to be able to manipulate runs because he's just going to be a guy that's going to consistently get on base. Mm-hmm. And I think the stolen base is going to be back this year. I think that's a statistic that goes way up, especially with the pitch clocks.
Yep.
That rule is going to, I think, be a prohibited advantage for the runner.
Agreed. And I like the fact that you have to pitch the Schwarber or you pitch the Harper. So if Turner gets on, it's pick your poison. Do you pitch around Schwarber to get to Harper, or like someone's going to see a fastball? You know what I'm saying? And it's pick your poison through the first 6 hitters of the Philly lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like when you have to face some kind of combination of Real Muto, Hoskins, Bohm, Who else am I looking at? Who am I missing? Trey Turner, Bryce is like Schwarber. You're going to have to face some combination of those guys.
Yeah.
In the first 6, right? And I think a guy like Castellanos is a guy that, being the second year here, you saw that his second year in Cincinnati, the first year was kind of like the one he had last year.
Yeah.
And then the second year is the one that he has the bounce back and has a really good year. If he's a guy that can turn it on offensively,
we need it.
yeah,
It's tough.
you're gonna be able to put up runs. And I think you have the flexibility to go right and left, to alternate right and left all throughout that lineup. I think they're going to be able. You're going to see probably Harper come back middle of the year, probably around the All-Star break.
Yeah,
that to me,
he had the elbow surgery.
Right, he has the elbow surgery, but he's already ahead of schedule, already making swings off a tee. I think you're looking at a guy you're looking at a lineup that can navigate the front end of that schedule without Harper.
Yeah.
And then you come back and then you add Harper back into that lineup. You're looking at a lot of runs. I think
is Bohm playing third?
Bohm is playing third, but he is taking I think the plan at the beginning of the season is to kind of use that DH as like an alternating rotation of guys, right? So on days where you might want to put Hoskins as the DH, maybe Bohm slides over to first, Sosa plays third. You're going to see a lot of those moving parts, but I think up the middle, you're going to see that consistency. You're going to see Real Muto behind the plate. You're going to see Turner and Stott. You're going to see Marsh in the middle. So those guys in the middle, the guys on the corners, right? I don't need Rhys Hoskins to be Gold Glove first baseman.
No,
I need him. Right, you just got to catch the ball and you got to mash. And I think the same thing for Bohm. Bohm, comes in a little heavier, maybe putting a little couple off-season workouts in. He's a guy that I look at and I go, if you can get now production from him, and he's going to be on the back end of your lineup.
Yeah.
He's going to be batting in the 7, 8, the 5s, not even 5, the 6, 7, 8, 9, that middle to end of the lineup. If you can get Pop out of the back end of that lineup, and then you put Marsh at the back end of that lineup at the in that 9 spot, and then that turns the whole lineup over. He's a guy that can get on, and now you've got Trey Turner, Schwarber coming up right behind him. It's just pick your poison. Who do you want to try to manipulate to try to get out?
Yeah.
So anybody that you're looking at as far as the pitching rotation, right? When you talk about you're going to go Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, I think the addition of Taijuan Walker as your forward, right? That was a guy that I remember a couple years ago Nick was super high on. He was a guy that they wanted him to go out and grab. Adding him as your 4, right? And now you have, some combination of Bailey, Falter, maybe. What are the chances, Rich? Have you seen the 19-year-old kid that pitched today, Andrew Painter?
I heard he's dirty. How'd he look?
Filthy. He's 19, facing major league. The Twins put out a major league lineup today. And he got the first, he gets the first 3 guys out, right? And then he does end up giving up a run on a sacrifice fly, right? But for a 19-year-old kid to come in, he's throwing 5 pitches. He added a cutter in the offseason. I think he's a guy that, if you remember, like Spencer Strider last year, they bring him up middle of the year last year. I think that's a guy that by the middle of, if he doesn't break camp with them, I think he's a guy by the middle of the season. He's your 5th starter.
That's awesome.
And I would even kind of toy around with trying to stretch out the rotation a little bit and look, instead of using that 6th game as like a bullpen game, to have just have 6 starters. Yeah. I think the way that their bullpen is set up, they just got a bunch of dudes that are just going to throw gas.
Yeah.
Right. You get they add Gregory Soto, from the Tigers,
Mhm.
who's just going to come in and throw gas. Alvarado, Dominguez. They brought in Craig Kimbrell. Connor Brogdon is still back there. So they got a pile of guys that are just going to be
Throwing heat.
throwing gas, and I don't think you could ask for anything else out of your bullpen.
No, I agree, dude. I agree with what you're saying, brother. I mean, it'd be nice to see them. Like, I wish we had another bona fide starter, like after Taiwan Walker. I'm not a Falter guy.
Okay.
And be cool to see Painter like break camp, be like the 5, but he's gonna have to build his confidence up, work probably down in AA, and then come to AAA, make a few starts, see where he goes. But it'd been nice to see them grab another starter because I just like having the starters. I'm not really big on like, all right, this guy's going to throw 3 and then bring in this guy to throw the next 3 and then get to the bullpen. Like, I fucking hate it. Just give me my starters. Remember back in the day when you had the Athletics with Zito, Mulder, Herron,
Hudson,
Harden, and Hudson. Like,
they were just throwing guy after guy after guy.
How they never won. Fucking crazy. That rotation was filthy.
And it's funny that the whole Moneyball scenario. It's ironic how they focus all on that one side of the lineup and how they like manipulated the numbers to get guys that fit the narrative, but they completely ignore the fact that they had 5 guys that were just throwing gas day after day after day.
Yeah, they didn't touch on that at all. And I'm like, pitching rotation was ridiculous.
They selectively ignored the fact that they had 5 guys that probably could have won the Cy Young in that year.
Yeah, they were ridiculous.
All right, Rich, some fun stuff. You ready?
Yeah.
Have you taken a look at the Phillies promotional giveaways at all?
No.
Don,
it's work, teach, play with
I know.
Vaguely.
I know. Sometimes I have to indulge myself, right?
Hey, dude, I'm not mad at you. I wish I could. I just forget about it.
The opening night, they're giving away the replica 2022 pennant.
Okay.
Right. The next night, the kids and I are going. The family's going down on Saturday, April 8th for the National League Champions T-shirt giveaway.
Very cool.
So you've got you've got your winter hat, you've got your Fanatics birthday T-shirt, the Dollar Dog Nights.
Like it.
Let's see, what do they got here? Trying to think. We're going down in June. There's an AJR post-game concert.
You were telling me about that.
So the kids are, that's a big band for the kids, so we're excited about that. So, it's just fun to kind of look ahead. There's a Schwarber replica jersey, and there's a Trey Turner T-shirt jersey. So some
gotta
fun
go
stuff.
for the jerseys, baby. Gotta get the jerseys.
Listen, anytime you can get the bonus giveaway,
go to that
on
game.
top of just going to the game. Those are always good. Those are always good ones to work in there. Rich, answer Adam. Do you have an answer for Adam's question? A player that you want to see have a good year for the Phillies?
I will take Alec Bohm, Castellanos, and Nola.
I'm gonna go Castellanos.
Castellanos is number 1 because we have a lot of money invested in him.
Yeah, they've got a lot of money invested in him, and they if they can get production from him, good God, that makes it makes Schwarber less of a liability in the outfield because you can slide him out and slide, let Schwarber just mash out of the DH until Harper gets back. It's all good problems to have.
All good things. All good things.
Oh, Rich. All right, we're switching gears again, Rich.
Let's switch.
Sixers.
Okay.
Coming out of the All-Star break.
Tobias Harris stinks.
Which the friend of the show, T. Will, Tobias the Friendly Ghost.
Yep.
God,
always.
The other night, he's got? I want to make sure I look it up. He had. Where is this? I'm looking at
You can't find him because he's not there.
Stop. He put the other night. He only had. Was it the Heat game? Trying to look here. I want to make sure I get it right here. He had You ready for this stat line?
I'm ready for it.
34 minutes, 5 rebounds,
Nice.
2 points.
Yeah, where's he at?
Yeah,
When is he done? Like, when are we done paying him?
This year, I believe.
Thank
I
God.
believe his contract is done.
So
at
you're
the
telling
end of
me
this year.
we can go and get another superstar?
Listen, I'm gonna do a little digging while we're talking, but it's so hard to watch those games when you know that he's a guy that can score, but just disappears in those big moments.
Yeah, and Doc still can't coach.
No, it's the way that this team gives up leads.
It's ridiculous.
It's incredible. So I don't know. I'm coming out of the break, right? They have the games against they beat the Grizzlies, right, in a game where they come back in the fourth quarter, but then they drop a very, very winnable game against the Celtics in which they were up 17 at one point.
Yeah.
And then they lose to the Heat the same way. It's I think if this team doesn't get out of the second round, I think you're going to see a lot of changes.
Adam asked the question, you guys think Embiid will ever win a championship with the team they have and the coach staff? No. There's no way. Our bench is absolutely dog shit, and our coach is dog shit. Like, we have no second team. Our second team is terrible.
No, and if you look at
Embiid and Harden and sometimes Maxey.
And the Blue Coats. Like, if you look at the
Joel
guys
Embiid's not going to win a championship in Philly. The Sixers aren't going – I don't see the Sixers winning a championship in the next 5 years. I really don't. I mean, they're the wasted process. Ben Simmons not panning out. Yeah, we get James Harden, who's looking great. Joel Embiid's playing at a high level. Maxey is sometimes it. Thibault was supposed to be the next, great defender. He's not around. The guys that they signed are like coaches' decisions for not playing.
Right.
It's just dumb. Like, I don't know what Morey was doing, but this year's free agent acquisitions are fucking terrible.
Yeah.
They haven't even been able to see the court because it's been coach's decision after coach's decision of them not playing. And we couldn't go get any of the buyout guys because nobody wanted to come here because there's not enough talent besides Joel Embiid and James Harden. Like, Harden's going to opt out next year and go somewhere else. And then you're going to be left with Joel Embiid.
And Tyrese Maxey.
And then they're going to be the 7th seed in the East. And
then you're talking about the Iguodala-esque Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tobias Harris.
Rich, if
Tobias Harris is the most disappointing signing, I think, in my history of watching sports. Of people who've disappointed me, who I thought would be good, is definitely Tobias Harris. Love him as a person. Hate that he's on my basketball team. Hate that he's been on my basketball team. Hate that we chose him and Al Horford over Jimmy Butler. Hate that we chose – I just hate it. Like, Tobias, you're a great guy, but I'm sick of watching you do absolutely nothing. Like, he is so fucking afraid to play basketball.
At pivotal moments.
At pivotal moments.
Like,
you can't even lead the second team. Like, when you're the first option on the second team, but you become the fourth, like, that's enough for me. Like, I'm done, bud. Like, see you later. Honestly, I don't see the Sixers. I don't see them winning a championship. Like, their Doc is terrible. He blows too many leads. They don't have any young talent whatsoever besides Maxey.
Yeah.
Like, how do you expect to win? Look at Boston, the way Boston's set up.
I was going to say, if you look at Boston,
you're not beating any team in the West.
No, God no. Like, the West is I really think that whoever comes out of the West is going to be whoever that's the team that's going to win.
Oh yeah.
Right, Durant is about to make his debut in Phoenix. I think, but for Christ's sake, right? The other night when they play the Celtics and you let Al Horford run 5 threes on you, it just in the middle of the third quarter, it crushed them because it took they had like a 7, 8, 9 point lead, and that on 3 possessions it literally evaporated. And right, but you look at the guys that they bring off the bench, right? Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Grant Williams. Those guys, they're just throwing guard after guard after guard, and they are able to just run and gun and shoot threes, and they're very efficient in how they score. And the Bucks are the same way, right? You're the guys that you're bringing off the bench. You're bringing off Pat Connaughton, and you're bringing off Joe Ingles, and you just picked up Jay Crowder.
Yeah, guys who can shoot lights out.
Got not only rich, but not only guys that shoots lights out, but guys that are coming in with playoff experience.
Yeah,
guys that are coming in that are proven NBA scorers. And you look at who the Sixers are bringing off the bench, right? You're bringing off, right? We saw this last year, right? But you're bringing off fucking Paul Reed and George Niang and Daniel House and Jalen McDaniels. None of those dudes scare anybody.
No.
And the way that it sits right now, right, they're going to be exactly where they are right now, right? The
PJ Tucker who can't score.
PJ Tucker's in the playoffs. That rotation is going to go down to 8 guys. PJ Tucker is going to be your backup 5 because Paul Reed and Montrezl Harrell blow.
No, I'm talking about Tucker, the fucking guy we just signed. He's not going to be your backup center.
PJ Tucker's going to play the backup 5. Rich, would you trust Paul Reed or
how tall's PJ Tucker?
Rich, I don't know how. I'm gonna look it up right now.
6'3".
Oh God, how tall is he? He is 6'5". He's going to be your backup 5 because you can't trust Paul Reed and Montrezl Harrell and Dwayne Dedmon. Those are not guys that scare anybody. So he's going to have to play your backup 5.
I don't even want to talk about this right now because it's fucking aggravating. Tell me PJ Tucker is going to be fucking Joel Embiid's backup.
What's your
There is
alternative?
nobody else, Don. There is nobody else. It's so fucking stupid. I thought we had a fucking genius in Daryl Morey, and he builds this team full of fucking shit bricks. We're wasting Joel Embiid's prime. We're wasting Joel Embiid's prime. And Adam, I don't think we would have won a title already. I really don't.
I think their best chance was when they lost the quadruple doink in Toronto.
Yeah, that was
their best. That was from the start of this whole process. That team was the best team that would have. I think if they win that game in Toronto,
they win.
I think they go on to win because they would have played a very wounded Warriors team, and they would have been able to do whatever they wanted on the court, just like Toronto did.
Yep.
But until they get to that point,
which
they won't be, not in any iteration of what the team is right now. It's just not going to.
Are fucking going to be a perennial after this year because they're going to be the 3. They're going to be a perennial 6, 7 seed.
God.
They're just going to be getting in by the skin of their teeth because the East is going to be so fucking weak because it's going to be Boston and Milwaukee up top. The Nets are going to be better because those young guys at least fucking have heart and have some shit to prove. The Knicks are fucking dumpster fire, as always. Orlando fucking stinks. I don't know, man. It's fucking frustrating. Yeah. What's the next one?
Rich, the most bitter pill to swallow out of all of this is going to be whenever – because you can see the writing on the wall the way that the NBA plays. And that that there's going to be a point in time where Embiid's just going to be like, peace.
I'm not even mad if he does.
And that's going to – I think out of all of this, that will be the most bitter pill to swallow.
Oh, yeah.
especially if he goes somewhere and is successful.
I mean, I think he will be. And I wouldn't be upset if he did leave because he only has a few years left of his dominance. Like, fucking go, dude. Go get your championship. Like, I'm fine with not watching the Sixers. Like, it is what it is. I sat through the fucking process era, and we'd have to do it again. Like, what are you going to do? Like, the NBA is ebbs and flows. Like, we have a generational player in our hands at Joel Embiid, and we're fucking wasting it. Like, dude deserves better.
Well, Rich, let's go to some fun stuff. We're going to switch gears. All right. Mac McClung saves the dunk contest.
Yeah, buddy.
Has his, he's got the internet highlight reel of dunks from high school through college. He earns more money winning that contest than he did in his entire professional career.
How crazy is that?
Wild, right? So here's my question to you, Rich.
Yes.
Give me a guy, your favorite flash in the pan guy. A guy that had a moment in the sun and then you never saw him again.
Oh, man.
Any sport, any city. Doesn't have to be Philadelphia.
My favorite flash in the pan. Dude, I absolutely... Brandon Jacobs was just an anomaly. And I loved watching him play. Like, he was like Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Like 6'5", just running dudes over. I remember buying Madden and like always being the Eagles and trading for him because I just wanted to run people over.
That's awesome.
With Brandon Jacobs. So, that's a guy. And for some reason that name just like stuck out to me. And now I'm trying to think like a flash in the pan. Oh man. I know you gave me this question earlier. Who's yours, Don? So I can think of my second one.
So I'm going with I just stayed in the city of Philadelphia. Rich, do you remember the Eagles of 2020?
Yes.
The wide receiver who had the greatest 5-game stretch of all time.
Oh my God, Travis Fulgham.
Travis Fulgham is my guy. He's a guy who in 5 weeks had 500 plus yards and 4 touchdowns. The one to cap it off the week 8 game at Pittsburgh. 10 catches, 152 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That I just because he was great for that 5-game stretch, and then the next 7 games, 8 yards, 16 yards, 0 yards, 30 yards, 27 yards, 15 yards, and then he was out. And then after the 20, he didn't play in the league after the 2020 season. At the end of that season, his career was just done. He was on Philly, Miami, Denver, Green Bay, but he was a DNP through the 2022 season.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Wild, right? Very, very crazy. And to go back to something that Chris had mentioned.
Oh yeah.
Right? Chris threw this in here around 8:15. Where does Carson Wentz go, and does it really matter? It doesn't matter, Chris. But Rich, any ideas that is your best guess that he ends up in the NFL anywhere?
I don't think he's gonna. Teams are gonna wait out training camp before he gets signed. See if there's any injuries. If I'm a team who's gonna like kick tires on him, I would say it would most likely be like the Texans.
Okay.
If they don't get like Carr or something to bring in a guy and maybe, help, because Davis Mills was fucking terrible last year. Jeff Driscoll was terrible.
Bad.
I think Carson Wentz is an upgrade over those guys. So if Derek Carr,
you think he could be a backup?
Who, Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Like mentally be a backup?
Yeah, mentally.
No, I do not think he can be a backup.
Neither do I.
So I think it's either he's going to ask to be a starter and teams are going to be like, no.
Right.
he's not. I don't think he's going to be the guy who's going to mentor anybody. So I have a feeling he's going to sit out there until training camp and see if like guys get hurt and get offered like, hey, here's a 1-year deal on something. Now the Raiders aren't picking Wentz up.
No.
No.
No, I
Raiders
think the
are not doing
Raiders are going in a completely different direction. And
Yeah.
that would be the complete wrong city for him.
Yeah,
Too much sitting,
yeah,
not enough Jesus.
Yeah, he would not survive, and too much eyes, too much pressure. I just have a feeling he is just not capable of being a backup. Houston just, is interesting to me because who knows? Like they might want to use him as like, all right, you're going to start like 3 games, 4 games till our rookie gets the hang of it, and it won't
Right.
be money if they miss out on like Derek Carr or one of the other guys. I just think there's too many quarterbacks who are going to be out there and hitting the market, and they're
Okay.
just better than Carson Wentz.
I think if he goes anywhere as a backup, he's going to have to go somewhere where there's absolutely no question that he's not the starter and that there's no contention.
So it has
So,
to be
like-
like Arizona.
Kansas City?
I could not see him going to Kansas City.
No?
No,
The way Andy Reid rehabilitates quarterbacks?
no.
No question that he's never going to play because Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback.
They have Chad Henne. Or
I thought Chad Henne retired.
who was it? Who was it? Chase Daniel? Who did they
No, it
have?
was Chad Henne.
It was Chad Henne last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he retired though?
I think he did. I think he
They'll
either
go
did
out.
or is going to.
Dude, they'll go out and get a journeyman.
But I'm saying, like, a situation like that where there is absolutely no question that you are not the starter would be the only place where I think it could possibly work. But I actually don't. I think his fall from grace, right? You're talking about this is going to be his 4th team in 4 seasons.
Yeah.
If you haven't been humbled already,
I don't think he has. I don't
no,
think he
neither do
has.
I.
So I just don't see it.
Right. And listen, we got Rich. So I got a second question for you. Coming off of Adam's question, right? The bigger disappointment, Simmons or Wentz? Because we've already penned the title for the 30 for 30, the false
Yes.
messiahs.
False messiahs.
If you're a director, talk to me.
Call us.
I got the naming rights.
He does. Copyright.
Give me Adam, does it really matter? They both were a complete and utter disappointment. Give me a guy you were completely wrong on.
Well, Jalen Hurts is the easiest one. I was completely wrong.
Okay.
On Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think everybody knows that. So I'm content with saying that.
Give me a guy on the other end. Give me a guy you thought was going to be great and wasn't.
Man. Namdi. Thought that was going to be really great. Thought that was a great pickup. Fuck.
I went Don Brown.
Yeah, Don Brown's a really good one.
Don Brown,
Moniac for me. Moniac for me. I had.
Oh, right.
I thought Moniac was going to be great. Never panned out.
Yeah, I mean,
Scott Kingery. I thought he was going to be good. I was
right.
like,
He
all
was,
right, I'm excited. I'm
the,
excited.
ne-
for Scotty
the
J.
next the next Dustin Pedroia, right? They
Yeah.
were, and they're still. This is the last year of that contract.
It's fucking
He's still on that contract, making a lot of money.
$9 million. It's fucking
wild.
crazy.
Yeah, but Don Brown, man, he could not have been more highly touted, top prospect in the organization for year after year, and then has that great start to the season in the home run derby, and then falls off a cliff. Man, I really thought that he was going to be their answer in the outfield, and just
Yeah. Wasn't
never
it?
was.
Wasn't
Never
it?
was. Never was. Rich, anything else fun you want to talk about before we jump out, before we go into final thoughts?
Honestly, I'm too tired to think, bro.
So let's just jump right into it. Final thoughts.
Oh,
What do
man.
you got?
Final thoughts. Guys, enjoy your sleep. Enjoy your sleep. Nah, final thoughts. Weird shit happens daily. like that I notice, like some stuff that's like unavoidable. Go into the bathroom, get some cold water, and throw it on your face, and just start fresh again. That's my final thoughts. 'Cause we had like a really strange fucking day at work today. Like everybody was like in a mood. I don't know if like Mercury was drinking Gatorade or whatever they say. Mercury
Retrograde.
retrograde. That's right, retrograde. I thought Mercury was drinking some Haterade,
Some Gatorade, Haterade,
Gatorade, or some Powerade, or some Orange Tang floating around, and it was just like weird. Everybody was just kind of like down. Like patients were just weird today. Everything was just, it was strange. I don't know what it was. And like I was talking to my boy Nate, I'm like, Nate, what if we're the patients, bro? Like, what if this isn't all like we're the patients, right?
Wow.
Like I had like a Shutter Island moment. Like I'm like, oh no, we're the ones who are actually in here. Like we are actually in the long-term care. It's because I think it's just draining. And, thank everybody who works in healthcare and teaching and anything that's like a very high stress, taking care of a lot of people, because it's not easy. And the burnout is super real. You get tired, you do the same thing every single day, trying to help people, trying to make a difference. And some days you're just like, I think I got dementia from breathing in the air. Like I'll be like walking up, like, I don't even know where I'm going. Now I feel like my patience, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what is going on? So it's like, you get burned out a little bit. You take, the weekend to recover, do some mind numbing stuff and just get on, but throw that water on your face and just get back on the horse. Life doesn't stop. It keeps moving, and just try to find the happiness and the joy in it. That's why I love the people I work with. Like they are an extended part of like my family. Thank God I have, Kelly, Nate, Rachel, Sam, Bianca, my director, Ellis, Christian, Lauren, Umara, Jenny, she's the boss. Jenny, shout out to Jenny. But I'm happy, like, they make the day worth it. And when we're all going through it, we all go through it together. And we're always there to pick each other up. And sometimes you're not fortunate to work in a situation like that, and you go to work and you hate it because you don't like the people you work with. I'm fortunate enough to, like, people get me. They understand me. They're like, he's strange, but he's all right. So, everything makes it all better. And tomorrow's a different day. You never know what the next day is going to bring.
No, I love it. No, and listen, Rich, Chip and I had a moment like that today, man. Just after school, just sitting in a room, nobody there, just commiserating on some funky stuff that happened throughout the day, and just try to be there to support each other.
So it wasn't just so something is going on.
No, 100%. It's getting to that time of year, right? We're approaching, the state standardized testing schedule, and you're weeks out from the holiday break, but not close enough to spring break. Like it's just a funky spot. So we're just but I think the important thing is, right, bouncing those ideas off each other, just trying to navigate that not by yourself, but trying to bounce some ideas off somebody so that you can get through it. But my final thought, Rich, I'm giving a shout out to my next door neighbor.
Nice.
My next door neighbor, Marge, is 83.
Oh, sweet.
And sometimes she has trouble with, sometimes the TV gets on the wrong source, the wrong input. And she sends me a text or gives me a phone call and says, can you come over? And I'm going over there, and I hit the input button, and we go back to HDMI 1, and BIOS comes right back up, and we're all good. And
I love it.
So, but today, Rich, she dropped off a rotisserie chicken as a way to say thank you, right?
Bro.
Like it, and it was the kind of thing where it's like,
that's so nice.
The acknowledgement and the appreciation is never why you do it, but damn, it does feel good. It feels good to be able to know that you're there to help your neighbor.
Yeah.
And whether that's snow blow in the driveway whenever Mother Nature comes around, or cutting the grass in the summer, or switching the TV from input to from one to another. So my thought would be to say, go out and support your support your community, whether it's your next door neighbor, someone down the street, whatever. And the littlest of things can really help somebody. Because the one time I did it, Rich, she's like, "Oh my God, it's been like this for like 6 weeks," and I'm going, "Marge." Oh, she goes, "You're so busy." And I'm going, "I'm not that busy. It's okay. You can call me."
Yeah,
so now
6 weeks sitting on the input.
6 weeks. She had 6 weeks. She was rolling off the old school antenna hanging in her window. I'm going, "Marge, you got cable. Like, we got this. You're okay." So be out there, be good people, find the good, support one another.
Yeah, man.
Go check out of our stuff. I'll play the commercial at the end. But thank you for everybody for checking in.
Yes, sir.
Rich, take us home.
Yo, you stuck around, you fucked around, you found out. We are Drunk on Broad. As always, fuck Spike Eskin, fuck Deshaun Watson. Davion Taylor can get it. We're back on the no fucks because we're happy. You know why? Because we got over our Super Bowl loss. But guess what? It's always fuck Dallas. I'm Rich. That's Don. We are Drunk on Broad. Join us next week on the Philly Fired Up Network, baby. Oh, did I tell you? Hold on. You know whose kids I'm coaching in T-ball?
Stop. Gilletto's?
Yeah, the boss man's kids.
Get out.
Yeah, I got the girls on my team. Dude, I'm looking at the schedule, right, bro, for T-ball, and I'm like, Galetto. I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? He sends me a text. And he goes, "Looks like you're my girl's coach." And I was like, "Oh, snap. That's dope." So shout out to you, Mike. Shout out to you. Don, you're muted. You muted yourself, Don. You hit the mute button.
I'm getting killed by the mute button here.
Yeah, dude,
that's awesome. And Dom, shout out to Dom.
Shout out to Dom having a baby.
They're gonna have a baby.
Bunch of bitches can't make boys. And on that note, see you, Philly.
Later.
Von C Brewing Company is a 20-barrel, 16,000 square foot microbrewery with a 2,500 square foot tasting room, including a spacious outside beer gardens in Norristown, PA, in the heart of Montgomery County. The Von C family is part of the family that started C. Schmidt and Son Brewing in 1860. Stop in Wednesday through Sunday and taste a variety of draft and 16-ounce cans of originally brewed beer and tell them the Drunk on Broad crew sent you. Von C Brewing is located at 1210 Stenbridge Street, Suite 300 in Norristown. Cheers.
Team Clicks are the only glasses for real sports fans. With interchangeable arms, you can support all of your favorite teams, or even make and create custom options as well. These die-hard sports fans have realized that sports fans needed something other than face paint to show their love and passion for their teams. Go to teamclicks.com/DOB and show your love for your hometown team.
La Tourain's curated collection of men's and women's watches is a perfect investment that lasts for years to come and fits perfectly with your every outfit and style. Our range of classic watches aren't just a great perfect formal and casual accessory, but a time machine that takes you back to memories. Explore our collection of timeless watches that can reflect your taste, personality, and personal style. Our exclusive collection of carefully curated, affordable luxury watches is what you need to make a personalized style statement. You can take pride in your prized possession, handing it over to the next generations as your most loved asset that they can also own and display with the same pride. These high-quality pieces stand the test of time, giving exceptional value and return on your investment. Go to la-tourain.com and use code DOB at checkout and get 10% off.
If you're looking for unique sports apparel, check out Streaker Sports. They've dug deep into the archives and have brought back some incredible defunct team logos and have even created entire defunct league collections. They also have collections paying homage to sports culture, including the Miracle on Ice, Slap Shot, Caddyshack, the Mighty Ducks, and even have a license with Wiffle Ball and USA Hockey. Only for Drunk on Broad listeners, use code BROAD at checkout to get 10% off anything at streakersports.com. Again, that's 10% off anything at streakersports.com with discount code BROAD.